Toyota.
Sir, big games this week. Big games, right? Started with Dallas last game.
Yep.
Now you got Minnesota. You got Winnipeg coming up.
Yep.
Listen, divisional games. I'm the non-standings guy. You're the standings guy. Tiff's in between.
Forget standings. This is direct competition.
No,
right?
Exactly. I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, they're all divisional games, and they affect your spot in the standings. So it was a good start last game, obviously. For the Avalanche, and keep it up tonight. This afternoon.
It is. The sun will not be down by the time this game is over. So,
no.
Look, there was no morning skate today, so not a whole lot confirmed in the Avalanche lineup, but you can expect Blackwood to start. Cale Makar is expected to play, even though he did take practice off the other day. Other than that, don't expect too many changes. Nichushkin did leave practice early, as has been the case for about a week now. Realistically, I wouldn't mess too much with the Avs lineup after last game either.
Yeah, I mean, as we saw a couple hours ago, Inola called back up. I do believe there was maybe a sense that Nichushkin could have been in the lineup. That was before the practice yesterday. But, hence we've seen it all year long, guys being sent down for cap reasons. And I do believe that Inola was being sent down. And then all of a sudden, obviously, you need a forward. Because Val did not finish practice. And I was the one in the lineup last game. So when going back, pretty much the same lineup as last game. Like you said, why would you change anything? So awesome. Blackwood will be back in the net. And and the other guys were still practicing in red and, whatever. Wood, Shillington, nothing to declare there. So should be an interesting game today. On the flip side of things for Minnesota, Fleury's in there. Gustafsson backing up, been out with a cold or, not feeling
He didn't look great against the Avs last time either, so.
No, yeah, but he was also sick. You know what I mean? So they had called up Ferguson. Ferguson left, so, he's good enough to back up. They're saying, I think it was confirmed that Fleury's in there, and obviously, they said in the same lineup. So Kaprizov probably out, did not play last game. So if they're going with same lineup, then another big piece missing for the Minnesota Wild. So take advantage of it if you're the Avalanche.
Well, let's give some time for them to get the rosters out there. Hit me with your 3 keys so I don't steal any of them like I usually do.
Great minds think alike, my friend. Key number 1, let's... I can't read, as we all know. It's easier if it's right here. Key number 1, I kept it very simple. Keep the goals coming. Second line was on fire. Power play struck. Got some contributions on the backhand, obviously, Makar. So keep the same thing. As Rudo just said, don't change a thing. Let's keep them rolling. Let's get those 4 lines popping, going, and, keep the goals coming. Way easier to win a game 6-0 than
True that.
hope for a 1-0. Number 2, another standings game. We just talked about it. You're 1 point behind Mini. I just like the last game against Dallas. You have more games played, yes, than they do, but it's also mental. You leapfrog them if you win. It just makes a difference. Even though I don't look at standings, I do know where I am in the standings, and I know that by winning that game, I go ahead. You just know by looking at it. So, yeah, overall, same as last game, standings game. It's a big 4-point game, divisional game. Number 3, Smart puck management, very important tonight in this game, this afternoon in this game. I'll say this all pregame, my fault. This afternoon, Mini's 16-5-3 on the road. It's one of the better road teams in the National Hockey League, so they're going to play simple, especially if Kaprizov's not in the lineup. They're going to wait for their opportunities. They're good at it. Just don't give them any gifts. Just make them earn everything they get. Nothing given to them. And if you do that, you're smart with your puck management. Or if you do a little bit like they did last game, laying pucks in the offensive zone in the corners, make plays behind the goal line. And, the second line there, if Casey was dynamite doing that, they were great on the rush, but they're also great at creating chances and, of course, finishing their chances and being prolific around the net and putting the puck in the net. So you do those things tonight, get a big chance of winning that game.
Just to confirm, as always, Ryan Bolding has the lineups when the Avs are at home. It is the same lineup.
Yep.
Top to bottom other than Blackwood in net.
Yep.
So.
Perfect.
Will be there. Malinsky did take warm-ups for this one, but is still the 7th D for tonight. Yep. So, again, do expect to see him in soon, but...
Yeah,
again, you put 6 goals on the board. Coach is saying change nothing.
You saw him do a little extra work yesterday. Yep. You knew there wasn't going to be a morning skate today. It's a 1 o'clock game. So, he was getting a little work. So you can tell that it was going to be the same lineup, and he wasn't going to be in. So it's okay. Keep your head up. Be ready. Your name will be called. That's for sure at some point. And then energy on the right side, energy on the right parts of your thought process, and you should be ready to go when you're called upon.
E, have you ever had a situation like this where it's 2 matinee games in a row?
Yeah, and it's like 3 out of 4 right now. I don't think I've ever seen that.
4 out of 5, actually.
4 out of 5. Yeah. I'm sorry, because the New York and Boston games, this is the stupid part of me, my brain talking right now, but I didn't like if there was afternoon games early in the season, and usually you don't catch that many. It's usually after, like Christmas or holiday break or what do you want to call it, that they usually happen. But I don't like them preparation-wise, but I like them afterwards because you can go for a nice dinner with your wife or family or whoever, friends, and it's kind of nice. And the Avs do good on afternoon games. So I think Brendan, that the stats out the other day, they're pretty dynamite, their stats right now with afternoon games. So it changes your thought process a little bit, but sometimes it's fun.
Is it? I'm saying with 2 in a row, are you at least maybe in a rhythm since you were coming off the afternoon game the other day and just kind of keep that schedule?
Yeah, and then you practiced yesterday. Maybe they wouldn't have practiced because they would have said, okay, let's take the morning skate as our get-together a little bit and everybody get their legs going. So that way it's kind of nice. And I'll tell you what else is nice is, I don't know where the guys live. Well, I kind of know where they live, but I'm saying some guys, if you live away from the rink or further away, it's kind of nice not to go down twice downtown. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. You go there, you go back home, you go back down, They all pretty much live close by, but still, mentally it's nice to go to the rink once instead of twice. It does get old sometimes, but those game days are long. Routine-wise, they're pretty long. So, yeah, it's nice. You get in the rhythm now.
Hopefully the Avs are ready to go for it again. We saw last time Minnesota missing some guys, and the Avs were able to take advantage of that. This kind of does feel like the Avs realm, right? Like the injury zone where the Avs have just lived here all season and other teams are experiencing it now, and the Avs are like, yeah, no, this is normal for us.
Yeah, Spurgeon's out, right? He's still out.
He's still out.
I think Locko's the guy that, depth forward came in last game, I believe. Obviously, Kaprizov's still up. That's the one that kind of
that's the big one.
Matters in a nutshell for them. I think Brock Faber was not there last week when they played the Avalanche. I do believe he's back. He played last game, so that's a big piece. I think the Avalanche picked him apart last game. Obviously, you're missing Spurgeon, Faber. Those are big pieces. You know what I mean? And I think tonight the Avalanche. So you can't look at it like you said. You can't feel bad about other teams missing guys because the Avalanche, we all know it's been absolutely ridiculous all year long with the injuries. So get at it, play the hockey game that's in front of you. Still a good team, still a team that's ahead of you in the standings like we just talked about. So let's rock and roll and make them pay and keep going with the homestand where you win this one, you pretty much have won your homestand, right? So
no, pretty much about it. You won it.
Yeah, exactly. Can't do any worse than 3-2 if you win this one. So
A couple of different angles to take for the Avs' top 6 forwards here. One, you only got 1 point out of Mikko and Nathan the other night. So is there a little bit of an expectation for more of them tonight, or today, I should say? Two, how do you keep that second line rolling? Obviously, you're not expecting another 10-point night out of it, but what do they have to do as a line to find that consistency?
Well, Jonathan, I think, played it down a little bit. Like he says, one of those nights where, things went in, but, they could have created all those and pucks didn't go in. You would have said, hey, man, they played pretty good. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think it's important to get a little bit of competition. I talk about it on the power play all the time. Again, playing-wise, I'm used to Avalanche 1.0, whereas Joe and Peter, I'll tell you one thing. There was some sort of competition. I don't care what they'll tell you. Your line against their line, you look at it. In a game like last game, you would have said, let's say if there was Forsberg's line, football would have said, yeah, we got 3-4 goals. What'd you guys get? You know what I mean? Like, and it's a fact. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you want to be the one that's out there on that face-off because they're stuck out there with their fourth line, and there's, it was an icing, and you want to be the one where all of a sudden, oh, these guys are hot, you're going to go, and it creates a little bit of competition, creates a little bit of urgency. We talked about urgency last game. Felt the Avalanche had it last game. Hopefully, they can keep this going today, and not just on line versus line, but. Yeah, I mean, you would think Mikko and Nate, they're at the top of the league in scoring. You would think that they're going to produce, and they will. That's not a rocket science point of view right here. It's a fact. But it was nice to see. And again, the common factor there is Lecky, that we talk about all the time. This guy he's the fixer on every line. And
oh, yeah.
I mean, even if I have a problem at my house right now, like construction-wise, I'd probably call Lecky. You know what I mean? Like... Oh, does Lucky do construction? No, but I'm sure he would.
He does everything.
He does everything. So, you want something to eat and you're hungry, call Lucky. He will cook you some food. He can do it all. So, it was nice to see. Hopefully, they can get into a rhythm. And it makes me just say one more thing. I'm at practice yesterday. I'm looking and I'm like, because I'm thinking, we talked about it post-game show.
Yeah.
Oh, Val. No, Val's a unicorn. Val's a great player. I'm not putting him down. I'm saying, we've been complaining all year long. They don't have their top 6 guys. Okay, all of a sudden, Val comes back. You're like, what do you do? You're trying to, you know what I mean? Like, is it Ross that gets dropped down? Is it whatever? And then yesterday, again, there was talks that he might have been playing, and all of a sudden he was in a green jersey with Parson and Ivan.
Yeah. And then got off halfway through. But
maybe like 2 minutes to go in practice.
That's most of practice.
That's most of it. It was a short practice, up-tempo practice, but so you're thinking, again, how long would that have lasted? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
It's tough to, and I'm not saying Val's a fourth liner. I'm saying it's funny when you've been asking for something, it happens, and then you're like, oh, well, we have another guy coming back right now. Let's just shuffle the deck again. You know what I mean? It's funny because nobody gets into a rhythm. So whatever, it is what it is, a good problem. And I'm not saying Val was a fourth liner. Well, I'm saying you have to figure it out.
Let's take a look at those top forwards a little bit more on the special teams side of it. I guess not just the top forwards, but we can start with the power play. Obviously, they kind of get off the schneid a little bit. Cale Makar puts one in. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I hope Cale Makar scores 100 goals. You're still waiting on those forwards to put one in the back of the net on that power play for you, aren't you?
I agree. I liked it. I liked the power play. I want to say the power play before.
It was a good one.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
We said it twice on the watch along. It's not about cut up oranges and juice boxes. You know what I mean? Yeah, you did fine, But it was more like, oh, okay. Early in the game, you did well. If you're going to get another one, you're going to cash in. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's what they did. It's just been a little bit longer than you would like or you would think.
So bang another one home tonight.
That's what I'm saying. Now
yeah.
You don't go on another run of like 1 for 450. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, like really? Because now it just gets awful. So get a little bit of consistency. Be urgent. Outwork the opposition. Be sharp. And the key word on power plays is, for me, it's very simple. It's execution, and they have the right guys to execute. They're the top of the league in scoring. They must be pretty good. They're better than you and me combined. But if you want to execute, is a big thing. And then sometimes simplicity is the main course and not like...
I mean, look, I talked about in my review of the game, the thing the Avs did well and why that second line scored so much, they went to the middle of the ice.
That's it.
And you look at that power play, yes, MacKinnon and Rantanen get assists on that play, but who makes that play? It's Makar shooting from the middle of the ice up high, and it's Arturi Lekin in front of the goaltender in front.
Can't see anything.
So you got to go to the middle. And I want to see the Avs' best players of MacKinnon and Rantanen go to the middle on that power play a little bit more effectively and create a little bit more quality. If they don't finish, they don't finish at the end of the day, I guess. But if you go to that area consistently, pucks will go in.
And the details are so important. Right there, you said something that was so key, and it's, again, the fixer. That does the little things right there on that play. Absolutely just takes the eyes away of Casey the Smith. Tonight you got Fleury. Fleury's a battler. He's their backup. Obviously, they picked apart Gustafsson last week. And Fleury, you're not going to... I'm not telling you he's the best goalie in the world. I'm telling you he's a battler. So all of a sudden, if you're in front of him, he's going to try to find left or right or something, a lane, and then you got to be ready for rebounds. You got to be ready for all that kind of stuff, second and third chances, and not quit, and not think that Marc-Andre Fleury has done his best saves in his career when he's like flopping and diving everywhere, as we see all the time on highlights. So I'm not telling you he's the best goalie. I'm telling you he's probably one of the best teammates ever, and he's one of the top goalies in the history of the league. Obviously, look at the numbers, but I know he's the backup this year. I know he's older, but he's not going to give you anything. This is his last chance. Last time, not his last time. Has Minnie been here before? Is this the second time of the year this year?
I don't remember if it's his last time. I'm not 100%.
I mean,
sure,
I don't know.
though.
Only him knows that if it's his last time playing here in Denver. And when you played in the league forever, every last little stop, you know what I mean. You remember and know, this is my last game again. I'd have to look on the schedule, but what I'm trying to say is he'll be at his best. And again, we talked about it. No give-me's tonight. No gifts. It's the same thing in the net. Don't give him any gifts.
That's
frickin'
exactly where I was headed next.
Yes.
Your PK gave up 2 goals the other night. You have to win the special teams, or at least don't lose the special teams battle tonight. Your PK has been really good. I don't think the goals you gave up last night are really the fault of your penalty kill. You had 2 tough angle goals end up going in. So don't let that shake the confidence of what has been a good PK over the last month or so. Hopefully they can keep rolling too.
Yeah, if I can just add, we talked about it post game. I think the structure was perfect. It's just, again, those were, I'm not blaming it. I love the Home Depot dude there, Wedgwood. I do. Those are just bad luck, and they're kind of both goals were the same. Banking off his chest or whatever it was, and one time he ran into Taser, I think. Then the other one. But again, that's kind of like the first goal, things you see when you haven't played for a little bit. And then, but I thought his game was on point. So I think that the PK was on point to finish it off your point there. And I think it's going to be just as equally important today that the structure is on point. And then Blackwood, comes back. And again, it wasn't his best, last game. And we all love him. But there was a couple goals where, he couldn't see it that we were talking about, but he didn't find it either. So,
look,
that's what it
I don't know how many ways we can say it, but it's time for the Avs to start playing consistently good hockey, right?
Yeah.
No Kaprizov. You should be the better team at 5-on-5. You should be in control of this game. And we've said that a handful of times this year, and at times the Avs have failed to show up effectively in those games. So you've been doing the yo-yo win-loss thing. Time to turn that corner a little bit and especially given that you're directly facing Central Division competition here.
Well, I think that's the key
It
right
just
there.
should not be a hard game for them to get up for,
That's
right?
the key you just said, because I said a little bit there on Twitter earlier today saying, you know what, as much as we feel that the Avs are yo-yoing right now, which they are, you know what I mean? They're still 14-5-1 the last 20 games.
right.
That's crazy. Like, I'm not picking on you. I'm saying that's the standard.
Yep.
That's the standard
Absolutely.
here. And every time it starts slipping a little bit, like lately it is a yo-yo, and you got to tighten the screws and really, really play playoff hockey mentality. Does that mean that you can be on top of your game right now? No, you still got 40 games or whatever, 35 games to get on top of your game, to be tip-top shape for the dance for the playoff run. And that's what they're striving for.
Look, I'm not saying the way the season started is the Avs' fault necessarily. Obviously, they dealt with the injuries and other stuff and all of that. But they put themselves in a situation where if they want to compete for the top of the Central, they have to play 700 hockey for the rest of the year. So you can't go win-loss, win-loss. You have to win more than 2 out of 3.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can, but it's got to be for like 3-4 games.
You're
That's
right.
it. And then you got to have that
so
run.
it's time to stop.
That's
now
right.
you got to go on another run if you're the Colorado Avalanche. That's where it's at.
100%.
Break out the crystal ball, buddy. I need some numbers and a name. What do we got?
All right. I watched him yesterday, and I have to be honest. I practice, whatever. I don't really watch him. I watch other people, and I have to admit, I do watch Cale Makar. I'm honest.
He
right?
sucks you in, all right?
He sucks me in. He's my guy. You know what I mean? I watch Sammy G too because he's my guy, and he's always working hard. But the guy yesterday was like a gazelle. Like, oh my Lord. I was like, man, this MacKinnon. I mean, it's an easy cop-out. I think he absolutely pops off tonight.
I hope so.
And I mean, twice I'm talking to someone yesterday, and I'm like looking to my left. I'm like, what was that? It was him like doing those, and it was just like flow drills and like transition drills, and he just flying, and I'm like, what? It's amazing when he makes those steps and those crossovers. Anyway, I'm taking an easy pick. I'm taking MacKinnon. Not to steal their word, but MacKinnon Magic today.
There you go.
And I'm. God, I hate doing that because I really have a lot of respect for Marc-Andre Fleury. I really do. He's one of my all-time favorite athletes in the NHL. I'm going to go 6 Cobb for the Avalanche.
6
I'm
Cobb.
going back-to-back.
Wow.
6 bagels, Avalanche.
I'm not that confident. I'm going 5-2. Going 5-2 with my score.
I'm going Frank
there
the
you go.
Tank, Sully.
Go streaking.
I'm streaking.
I'm going 5-2.
All right, that's pretty close.
And I'm going back to the well on a guy who maybe didn't have it as much last game, but has been really good of late for the Avs, and Logan O'Connor.
Ooh, good call.
He's been on, he has those 3 weeks a year where he just goes
That's a better call
absolutely
than me.
crazy.
Mine were a cop-out. I'll take the leading scorer of the league for 300, please.
And that's the thing, right? Is the Avs got it from the second line the other night. Awesome. You want it again from them, don't get me wrong. But if you know what, they don't have it quite as good tonight, maybe it's your third line that gets it done. Maybe your depth steps up. Maybe it's a depth defenseman that picks up a key assist or a goal or something. The Avs are a talented enough team that on any given night, they should be able to get it from anywhere in their lineup. Obviously, the fourth line is a little bit iffy because of the injuries right now, but pretty much everywhere else, you should be able to expect it. Not every night, but some nights.
Maybe you go 2-1-1-1 tonight and a PP goal. There you go. That's 6.
There you go.
There's my 6.
I'm good. Count
There's
it up.
my 6.
Count it up right there.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 6.
With Blackwood and net, I do expect a good one. I don't know if we'll get the shutout just because it seems like the Avs never get the shutout, but who knows? It's on the table. I didn't take that bet, but we can get into my pregame picks with Bet365, where, of course, it's never ordinary. It's a matinee game, so take it with a grain of salt. Crazy stuff often happens in the matinees. That's why I took the over. If this game ends 1-0, wouldn't surprise me. If this game ends 7-5, wouldn't surprise me. So that's the matinee style. Makar power play point is plus 200 right now. If you believe the Avs are about to break out of that power play slump, just all over that bet. Just absolutely ridiculous on it. And then I did go with my actual bets on the top line. Took the Avs to win with a Nate goal and a Mikko goal. If the Avs get both of those things, they're looking pretty good to win. I'll put it to you that way. So make sure you jump in with Bet365. You can follow my bets, or you can make your own. You can even emotionally hedge against the Avs. I know a lot of you in chat like to doom about the Avs, so put your money where your mouth is. Or go bet on anything else. You can bet on the Nuggets. You can bet on the NFL playoffs. Whatever it is you're feeling, do it with Bet365. And, of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. All right. We're closing in on puck drop here, but just to cover all of our bases. When you take a look at the Avs lineup right now, and you don't have to bury anybody, but what do you think the Avs' biggest weakness is?
The fourth line for me, again, I hate to, I'll say a name like the Ian Alaz of the world, and I do believe they are call-ups, for a game or two. I don't believe they are permanent NHL players, especially going to the big dance. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate their work or what they are. I just feel they're call-ups to pitch. They're like mid-relievers. You know what I mean? Like just pitch a couple innings, and you really don't affect the game, usually.
Unless you do so poorly.
You're just there to, and again, I hate talking like that. They are in the NHL, and that's a privilege to be in the NHL every day. But, I do believe that. And then maybe, a little, some sort of another depth. I'm talking about, I'm being selfish right now, looking down it's more like to protect yourself from injuries, as we saw, because that's kind of, I'm not taking anything away from Calvin or Keaton or Malinsky or whatever. It's more like, I'd like to tell you Shillington's an answer. Like, man, I don't know. He hasn't played.
Right.
Like,
he's been hurt.
Great,
He's
awesome.
played 10 games. It is what it is.
Hasn't played in a few years with an S.
Yeah.
So if he was healthy, I'd be telling you, well, yeah, I remember we had Brandstrom too at the start. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going back. I'm saying I like the depth a little bit more. So if you face one injury, you're not like, oh, boy, we might get exposed tonight. And the same thing up front. Again, I understand. We're still waiting on Val. We're still waiting on, Wood. Who knows what's going to happen. But it'd be nice to it just shows you when you're one or two deep, you need a guy.
Let me ask you this then. Instead of, as we've talked about, so much parts of the Avs lineup that need to improve, that need to play better, how do you protect the parts of your lineup that maybe are a little bit weaker?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's more of that, adding depth. You know what I mean?
But right now, do you just play those lines less?
Oh, got you what you're saying. Yeah. No, I think you just go with the flow. I mean, these guys.
Is there any line matching maybe? You make sure they're only out against other fourth lines? Or
Yeah. I think you protect them a little bit.
Okay.
I do believe they do protect them. You know what I mean? I don't think...
Is it protection or is it just lack of use in general? I mean...
A little bit of both. I do believe those two are, Bednar and his coaching staff, they're not big matchers, but, when we're talking about the top end, but I do believe on the lower end, they're pretty good at masking it.
When you have a 5-game homestand, at very least, you got to be doing a little bit of that, right?
You have to, you know what I mean? Like, you have to protect those guys and protect your team, you know what I mean? Because that's what coaching is, right?
Yep.
Why would you leave it wide open? Again, we'll see. I mean, you had a guy like Derek Ryan on waivers yesterday, I mean, would that have been of interest? I don't know, maybe you're looking back, you're like, oh, man, there's a guy's a righty, he wins face-offs, and, I don't know.
It's hard.
It's hard to think.
Because if you're expecting Val back and you're expecting some sort of a deadline acquisition that is presumably more effective than Derek Ryan.
No, and they like Ivan. They do. And then, again, me, it's more the face-off part. I'm just...
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem.
I know. And again, I'm going to take Coach Diaz's answer at this presser in the morning of a game. He's like, well, the power play's not losing us games. He's right. You know what I mean? Like, we're 12-3-1 the last 16 or whatever it was. He's right, But I'm saying there'll be a time where all of a sudden it will affect you. And the same thing with the face-off. There'll be a time it will affect you. And I just don't want it. I like to have someone there and then just lost it, where all of a sudden right now they're just outmatched a little bit in the face-off circle. That's all I'm saying, not being nitpicking.
Yeah. All right. Well, we do have to wrap up this pregame show's puck drop is right around the corner. So we appreciate all y'all hanging out with us for this. We got a watch along coming your way. Join us for that. And then, of course, at very least, join us for the postgame where we'll break it all down for you. We appreciate y'all. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by Coors Light.
We all silly like the mayor.